Hey everybody, how's it? Aloha. Oh, what a day. Today, major pivot for me. It was a good thing, tough thing, difficult thing, but so ready for this because I actually look forward to doing this now. It's like, this is like my cerebral ear candy moment and stuff, especially when I'm going to be listening to a band I've never heard before, hence a track I've never heard before, and that's going to be Earthside, A Dream in Static feature Daniel Tompkins. Now, really quick before I get going on this, I have been getting comments where people say, well, how the heck are you choosing these like kind of mediocre, or this track wasn't the best one? Please trust me, I'm at the beginning of the journey with the band, all these bands that I'm with, and when you guys drop me, well, that was an okay song, but you got to try this, that gets me to the next track. So I'm really excited about that, and trust me, I am kind of winging it, but that's what makes it fun for me, and to break down. And so it makes it fun for you to watch the old decomposer break it down. So I want to thank you guys for your comments. I want to thank you guys. So many folks have been dropping a little money, buy me a cup of coffee because the channel's not monetized. And you guys have been so kind, and some wonderful comments too. I'm just blessed to be doing what I'm doing. All right, let's just do this. All right. Earthside, A Dream in Static featuring Daniel Tompkins. All right. You know, when I started doing this in the end of November, just having fun, and then just, going and learning about new bands and listening to new bands, I am so elated yet so blown away at the quality of composition that's out there. I guess my head must be literally in the sand. I live on the beach, my head's in the sand, I surf, I'm a media composer, and my life has been in a bubble. And this is the kind of stuff that I wish I could write. Don't know if I could ever write it this well. But the dynamics and the composition here, there are so many beautiful passages and arrangements. Obviously, that opening sets you in this really nice little ambient, spacey kind of vibe. You got your headsets on. You can hear this beautiful, long, kind of ethereal reverb that's going in this little bit of a sequence that's happening. And then they come in and they hit you, with a quick, maybe it was a 4 or 6 bar kind of get you in there and get you kind of like vested. And then they pull back and you have that acoustic guitar that starts to, kind of relift you up. That is such a soothing kind of like a kind of vibe. That's what it did to me. You see me when I started getting chicken skin too. Another thing is that I just love, I don't know who this guy is singing, but what an absolutely crazy stellar voice. It's just beautiful. And it sounds effortless. And I mean, I'm only 2 minutes into a 7-minute song, so I'm sure I'm in for some great things. Something else that I wrote down too, the harmonies. The harmonies are just absolutely ridiculous. They're glorious. They're so... Sometimes you hear me talk about music when guitar players will use chords. You know, if you've never seen me do this, I don't do real theoretical breakdowns, but I dance around it sometimes. Sometimes I talk about suspended chords, and these are chords that guitar players or keyboard players or even bass players, if you got that skill, they play. And when they play this chord, this one note kind of leaves you wanting a satisfied resolution to it. And when you write in harmonies vocally in that vein, if you would, you could stretch that desire of resolve and beauty for as long as you want. And that's what they did here. It was absolutely stunning. And I haven't quite yet gotten into the musicianship. You know how I feel about that. If you're already at this level, these guys are probably all they're sick. They're just insane musicians. So now it's about the compositions, the arrangements, the layering, the melody, etc. Anyhow, let me keep moving on. This was, and something else that I did notice there too is also during the verse, the guitar playing, doing these kind of nice little patterns, kind of, I don't say this as a slant or anything, kind of U2-ish, that have the reverb on it that gives you that sustained, ongoing, kind of vibe there that I really just dug. But then I got pulled away by the vocalist because he's just absolutely mental. All right, here we go. Let's try this. Let's keep going. All right, I was like, I want to keep going, but I got to stop. So when we got back going again, one of the things that I noticed is that, okay, they're not really shy on layering when it comes to the musician that's handling the keyboards. They're very subtle, extremely tasteful. But in the beginning of the verses, both, I think the first one, but the second one for sure, if you, excuse me, listen into your headsets and stuff like that, you hear this kind of crystally sequence. That's kind of, it's holding an arpeggiation, which is a series of notes that'll repeat itself. There's many different names for that, which is not important. But it's absolutely beautiful. And actually those changes it's not a sequence that you hold down like what would be the root or a particular note that might transcend the chord changes. But that sequence kind of changes. Another thing I noticed, which was so cool, is they do counterpoint melodies or counterpoint arrangements. So the guitar, the drum player, the bass player, keyboard player are in their pattern, but then I heard another guitar. I don't know if there's two guitar players yet because, you know, I don't do my research on the very first listen. And I heard, while this guy's just killing this melody with these unbelievable intervals, there's a guitar melody that kind of whispers off into this angle over here. And it's so, I'm so blown away. I am really, truly blown away. I think this was just coming at me at a perfect time because today was a really heavy day for me. And this is just fucking beautiful. I'm just pumped. The guitar playing and the drums. Okay, now let me just goober a little bit on the drumming and the engineering. This drummer, it's not like Roseanne's, it's a shuffle. It's got a shuffle vibe to it, what he's playing like right now. But the way his kit is engineered, it is kind of tight and tight packed. So there's different uses of compression sometimes and how you use it. It's an engineering thing. Will define exactly how your kit works out, or your voice, or bass, or guitar, or piano, whatever. Compression is very widely used in the industry. But this engineering is so pure. It's crystal pure. And I think it's important to bring that up, because in this kind of ambient metal, maybe this is called, or theatrical metal. I don't know. It's not quite theatrical. I don't know what to call it, except just sick. But because there is a lot of, not a lot of, but there's a fair amount of delay and reverbs that are being used on it. You know how I'm about that kick drum, and that kick drum is just boom right here. I can feel it right here. Not too much on the bottom end and stuff, but just nice and dry and punchy, while the rest of the kit really fills out the ambience and is a tremendous rhythmical complement with the bass player along with the musicians doing what they're doing. Okay, I goober on. Here we go. Oh, I'm sorry. I wanted to mention right there. I'm going to go back a little bit. That keyboard sound is kind of a dulcimer kind of vibe. And when I heard that, maybe you saw I got a huge smile, because I've used that in compositions in the past, and it is such a cool instrument to call up if that is what he's using on the keyboard in those kind of sequences, because it has a percussive vibe to it, and still stays in the context of being somewhat organic, but it's still synthetic and yada yada. Here we go. We'll listen to it now. I went back further enough. Man, that counter rhythm that these guys are playing. Now, I'm not going to go back and re-listen to it and try to figure it out, because I just want to enjoy it for what it's worth. But something I want to bring up here, I don't know if you caught me counting, finding the one. That's our saying, right? So that's when musicians, even if you're a non-musician, your body knows where the one is. That's what the beauty is of this kind of writing. If you're a non-musician and you're enjoying this for the sonic artwork that it is, your body can feel where that downbeat is without even you knowing that it's a downbeat and stuff, because that's what gets you into your headbang. And if it's easy to find, you lock right into it. If not, it kind of, so I was looking for the one. And then, they're going into the rhythmical arrangements. And the second half of that, the drummer was holding down the quarter notes. Okay, so that kind of gives you the divining rod, a rhythmical divining rod to kind of hang on to for a second. Now, I don't know if there necessarily were meter changes here, because I know a lot of people get caught up with, is it a meter change, is it not? You know, those of us who are, you know, kind of geeky about meter change. But a lot of times that you can actually write in 4/4. For those of you who don't know music, that's a meter time. Excuse me. And still have these incredible arrangements. And even though it sounds like there's a meter change, depending on where and how these guys are writing their arrangements, you could still be in a very square, you know, tempo, but you know, that could still be in 4/4. Doesn't necessarily mean there's meter changes there. I don't know if there isn't. I await your comments. But that was great. Let's just keep going. Sick. Okay, I promise after this, I'll let this thing finish out. I just wanted to stop because I was still just over the moon listening to the bass player at the beginning of that passage when it got really soft, that you could see. You know, I heard it first and I had to look at the video, and he's playing this very, very soft, very light finger pattern that actually, to me, actually was more of the motif of that section than what the guitar player was doing. Then as I'm listening to him even more, because now he had me dialed in, I was fixated with the bass, he did some beautiful turnarounds, you know, some phrases that might wrap around 4 bars. You know, you could be holding on to a thing. I don't want to say it's a lick, it's a phrase, it's a melodic phrase, or hypothetically if a bass player is going boom boom ba da dum 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 boo da dum da dum dum dum, you know, those turnaround phrases. That must have been funny. But I'm just so into it. And then I think I saw him doing some double tapping on, or some two-hand playing there. But that's why sometimes I don't like to listen to watch the video and listen, or thank God sometimes I am, because did I hear what I hear, and I could see it. What's up with this guy's voice? This guy is an absolute monster. And the way he just hit that head voice at the very end note. Now, I'm not a vocal coach, so don't worry, but I've done my share of producing and been around enough vocal coaches. And at one time I did try to sing. Epic fail. But that beautiful head voice that he went to and glided into and stuff was not something that had to sell me. It was just beautiful. So I promise now I'm going to go back a little bit, and then we'll finish this out. I won't say another thing. I promise. guys, man, this was a much needed song for me today, and that's the thing about music. What music means to us at any given point in our day, in our life, in our emotional makeup during that day is so important. And I am going to remember this moment for quite a while, because it was almost like I got full vindication as a composer who I wished that this kind of music back when I was, kind of in this kind of 1980s, early 90s vibe of trying to do stuff like this. But I always got pooped on by people. Oh, what is this? And plus, I wasn't really a band or an artist as much as a composer, sitting down just woodshedding and just coming up with some great stuff, Well, great stuff according to me. The drummer, I loved. He did. I didn't hear a lot of it during the song, but at the last, I loved when he threw in some 30 seconds on the hi-hat. The musicians are absolutely insane. This band is insane. But I didn't know who the feature was. So was it the feature of the singer? Was that who the feature was? Or I'm assuming that's it, because I did see one video with them as I was just kind of looking around, and then I saw what I thought was a different singer. So tell me how that works. Please give me some more information on this band. I did look them up, and I did realize, on just Wikipedia really quick, excuse me, and but it wasn't really a deep Wikipedia. I was like, oh, there's not a lot of stuff on here. Anyhow, thank you so much for turning me on to this. It was just a great experience today. Today was the day that I needed to hear something like this, and so but thanks a lot for that. Thank you so much. If anybody's feeling like buy me a cup of coffee, keep it flowing. I keep going, and the link will be below for their Spotify, any discs and stuff, and vinyl for sale, and so on and so forth. And I today, that was a perfect song to end my day. So I got a couple songs coming at you tomorrow. So I'm back to speed, and you guys take care. And like I always say, all right.